Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you're joining us right now, chances are you've either finished the big festive feast, or maybe you're just taking a moment to recharge.
Hopefully with your feet up somewhere comfortable.
Exactly. Whatever your day looks like, we just wanted to wish you a truly peaceful and happy Christmas Day 2025.
And a very Merry Christmas to you. But, even on a quiet day like today, the world keeps spinning. And for this deep dive, we're jumping into a really competitive
Oh,
battleground.
for sure, the premium electric vehicle market.
That's the one.
Right. Our mission today is pretty laser-focused. We've got a stack of sources here that pit a relatively new challenger, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, against the absolute titans.
The German establishment, we're talking Mercedes, BMW, Audi.
And the sources are great. We've got detailed pricing data from this year and, maybe most importantly, comparison test results from major German trade magazines. We're talking auto build.
Mm-hmm. And the core question they're all asking is how this challenger isn't just competing, but is actually, winning repeatedly.
Against cars that cost significantly more and have decades of prestige. It's this classic David and Goliath story, but this David brought some pretty advanced tech.
Right.
So we're here to figure out what tangible substance it's offering that offsets the power of that German badge. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's start with the most obvious thing, the sticker price. The
Yeah.
sources are all completely clear on this. The Ioniq 5 long range is positioned as the value champion.
Okay, so what are we talking, numbers-wise?
You're looking at a price bracket, depending on the options, of between about 48 and 55,000 euros.
48 to 55.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our baseline. And when you look at the rivals,
Yeah,
well, the gap is immediate, isn't it?
it really is.
The Mercedes EQB 250, for example, it starts around 55,000
Right.
and could easily push 65,000. That's what, a 7 to 10,000 euro premium right off the bat?
And it's a similar story for the BMW i4 eDrive 35. That's between, say, 53 and 60,000 euros.
So just to get that badge, you're committing to paying at least 5,000, maybe even 12,000 euros more.
Exactly. Which brings up the big question the sources analyze. What are you actually paying for with that extra cash?
Status.
That's a huge part of it. The sources are pretty straightforward. The German models command higher prices because of the iconic badge, the Haute de Gamme material.
Right, the Napa leather, the ambient lighting.
All of that. You're investing in decades of perceived quality and prestige. But there's an interesting nuance the sources found, especially in the Italian market.
Oh, what's that?
Well, national incentives can sometimes penalize higher-priced imports, so that price gap can actually shrink, which makes the value argument for the Ioniq 5 even stronger.
So as a listener, you've got this immediate choice. Are you paying for the status or are you paying for the substance? Which leads us to, I think, the most powerful part of the Ioniq 5's case, the tech.
This is where it just pulls away.
Yeah.
The technical tipping point is its 800-volt ultra-fast charging architecture.
Okay, so for those of us who don't get into the EV spec weeds every day, what does 800 volt actually mean in practice?
Think of it like water pressure. Most EVs run on a 400-volt system. It works, but it has limits. The 800-volt system uses higher voltage to push energy in faster and more efficiently with less heat.
And the result, according to the auto build tests, is just dramatic. The Ioniq 5, with its 220 kilowatt charging power, goes from 10% to 80% into, what was it?
18 minutes. A staggering 18 minutes.
18. Now compare that to the Mercedes EQB.
It's not even close. The EQB is stuck on a 400-volt system, so it only manages 100 kilowatts. That means it needs 32 minutes for the same charge.
32. That's nearly double the time.
It is. Even newer rivals like the Audi Q4 e-tron need 29 minutes, and the Polestar 2 needs 35.
I mean, that's the difference between a quick coffee stop and a full mandated lunch break on a road trip. The sources say less than 5 minutes of charging adds 100 kilometers of range to the Ioniq.
And that kind of time saving is real, tangible value for a consumer. The German badge just can't compete with that right now.
But it's not just about charging, is it? The sources were pretty impressed with the driving dynamics, too.
They were. The all-wheel drive Ioniq 5, which puts out around 300 horsepower and a huge amount of instant torque, was praised for its remarkably good traction.
And they said it felt more lively and agile than the EQB.
Much more so. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. It's the little refinement details.
Like the iPedal mode.
Exactly. They said it's so well calibrated you can do seamless single-pedal driving, bringing the car to a complete smooth stop. That shows a real depth of engineering.
Yeah, that's not just about raw power figures. That's about the daily driving experience.
Shows they were thinking about the driver, not just, slapping a battery into a car. And that thinking leads us right into the interior, where the dedicated platform really shines.
Let's talk about that. The Electric Global Modular Platform, or EGMP. This is the foundation, right? The thing that gives it advantages the others just can't replicate.
It's the key difference. A mixed-use platform has to leave space for things like an exhaust tunnel. EGMP doesn't, so you get a completely flat floor.
And the sources say that results in, what was it, the sliding center console.
The universal island, yeah. And a really roomy, sliding rear seat. It creates a totally different feeling inside.
It's a different philosophy. The sources contrast it with the German approach, which is all about, classic luxury.
Right. Mercedes gives you the rich leathers and ambient lighting. BMW gives you the driver-focused digital cockpit. We know what that is.
But the Ioniq 5, it's something else. One source compared it to an Italian design study from the 90s.
I love that quote. Instead of old-school opulence, you get this futuristic, airy lounge feel. The lounge seats were a big talking point.
And are they actually comfortable? Because revolutionary doesn't always mean comfortable on a long trip.
Apparently, yes. Excellent comfort and adjustability. But the real win is just the pure space. The sources measured it as being even more spacious than the Mercedes EQB.
What are the numbers on cargo space?
A very competitive 527-liter standard, which expands up to almost 1,600 liters. And crucially,
It has a frunk.
it has a proper, usable 57-liter front trunk, a direct result of that dedicated platform.
Okay, so let's move on to ownership. This is huge for anyone thinking of leaving a legacy brand. Reliability, long-term costs.
And this is where Hyundai really works to mitigate that perceived risk. Their warranties are far more generous.
We're talking 5 to 8 years,
Right.
including 160,000 kilometers for the battery.
Which is way beyond the typical 3 or 4 years from the German brands. It's basically Hyundai putting its money where its mouth is on build quality.
And the sources agree that Korean build quality is now on par.
Absolutely. Though there is a nuance when it comes to resale value.
Okay. The prestige still counts for something there.
It does. The German models do tend to hold a higher percentage of their value after 3 years, maybe 50 to 60%. The badge carries weight in the used market.
And the Ioniq 5.
It's a bit less, around 45 to 50%. But the sources stress that because of its high efficiency and the huge demand for EVs, it still holds up incredibly well. And that dip is often more than covered by the 10,000 euros you saved up front.
Now, there was one category in the comparison test that was a genuine surprise to me. Sustainability.
This was fascinating. It actually beat competitors known for their green focus, like Audi and Polestar.
What did Hyundai do differently?
It's not just marketing talk, it's actual engineering. They're using genuinely eco-friendly materials in places you see and touch every day.
The sources mentioned recycled plastic bottles in the seats.
And wool and leather processed with vegetable oil. But it goes deeper. They use materials from sugarcane in the dashboard, door trims, even the carpets and headliner. And here's the detail the testers loved. The door trims use a material called paperette. It's recyclable, but it's chosen because it feels like premium thick paper to the touch.
That's a really interesting detail.
And that holistic focus is what helped it win the sustainability category. All of this, the charging, the space, the warranty, the materials, it led to a pretty undeniable victory streak in the tests.
The results were so clear. In the head-to-head with the Mercedes EQB, the Ioniq 5 scored 582 points to the EQB's 562.
Winning in body, powertrain, driving dynamics, and costs. A pretty clean sweep of the important stuff.
And it was the same story against the Audi Q4 and Polestar 2. It was the outright winner.
And this isn't a one-off. It's collected, 10 Car of the Year titles across Europe?
So the final conclusion from the sources for you, the consumer, is crystal clear, isn't it?
Extremely. Choose the Ioniq 5 for the superior quality-to-price ratio and daily usability for the tangible substance. Choose Mercedes or BMW if traditional image and luxury are your absolute top priority.
If we zoom out, the implication for the whole industry here is massive.
It's huge. This shows how a massive strategic investment in a ground-up EV platform like EGMP lets a non-traditional brand just leapfrog the establishment on the metrics that actually matter.
Things like charging speed and interior space. Things they can't match yet because they're often stuck with platforms that also have to work for combustion engines.
Exactly. The architecture defines the performance, not the badge anymore.
And that leads perfectly to the final thought you wanted to leave us with.
Right. We focus a lot on the practical stuff, the performance in space. But we have to remember that quote. The design freedom from the eGMP platform is what allowed Hyundai to create a car that was praised for looking like an Italian design study from the 90s.
I just love that image. It really captures the visual impact it had.
And that's the thought to mull over. This shift to dedicated EV architecture isn't just changing performance metrics, it is fundamentally redrawing the boundaries of vehicle aesthetics and challenging the very definition of what premium even looks like in this century.
That is a fantastic insight to think about as you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you got some great knowledge, and most importantly, we hope you get a chance to truly rest and enjoy the peace of the holiday season.
Enjoy the rest of the day, and we look forward to diving deep into the sources with you again very soon.
Merry Christmas, and make sure you recharge for the year ahead.